What's up, fam? My name is Dave, and I've been driving tractor trailers for about going on almost 4 years now. And the going trend that I'm noticing is with all these major companies is instead of hiring, like as far as in the office, instead of hiring guys that have experience as truck drivers to manage trucks, what they're doing is they're hiring college kids. Apparently colleges today have courses, I guess logistic management or transportation management, whatever it's called. I'm not sure what it's called, but they're offering a course on how to manage, a fleet of trucks. And, that's cool, but there's a problem with it. There's a major problem with it. And it's one of the biggest reasons why there's this huge exodus of, 15, 20-year-old drivers leaving the industry, period. Like, they're just saying, I'm done. I'm doing something else. And so now you have this gap. And so all these companies are scrambling to hire drivers. And you're going to start seeing a lot more tractor trailer accidents on the highway. Like, I can guarantee it. You will start seeing more tractor trailer accidents on the road. For the simple fact, what's happening in the office. Rather than hiring guys that have been on the road, know what it takes, understand what it's like sleeping in a day cab, understand what it's like sleeping in a cab, understand what it's like spending multiple days, months, weeks, days at a time away from family. No, you hire, some kid out of college, 23, 24 years old, has never set foot in a tractor trailer, never driven a tractor trailer, and most of these guys have never even driven a straight truck. If you don't know what a straight truck is, it's basically a U-Haul. If you ever seen a U-Haul, one of those big U-Hauls, that's basically a straight truck. And most of these guys have never driven that. So, again, I don't have anything against college guys, fresh out of college. I don't have anything against them. My only beef with them is now you're bestowing this ability to manage, 50, 60, 30, 10, however many trucks at a time. And now you're dealing with guys that have been in the industry for a long time. So these guys aren't going to stand for horseshit. They're not going to stand for, idiocy. And so when you hire these kids to manage grown men, there's going to be an animosity between these guys. Like, these guys, a driver puts his trust in a fleet manager to get him out to a destination and bring him back home, or get him to the next place, or whatever. Like, my livelihood is in my fleet manager's hands. And if this guy has zero experience on being on the road or driving a truck, I feel a little, I have to be honest, I feel very uncomfortable with that. And, for the simple reason, again, they don't have the experience. Here's an example. Just now, not even 15 minutes ago, I called my fleet manager. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I call him, I said, hey man, here's what happened last night. And let me know what's going on today. He says, well, I got another load for you. It goes to Houston, Texas. And he tells me it's going to take you quote, it's going to take you about 2.5 hours to get from San Antonio, Texas to Dallas, Texas. Now, for those of you who, don't know, like for my truck driver friends, as soon as they hear something like that, they say, your fleet manager's a fucking idiot. And I'm sorry for the strong language, but I have that. This is how I'm going to get my point across. Truck drivers hear that and they say that your fleet manager's a moron. For those of you who don't know, it takes a minimum of 4.5 hours to get from San Antonio, Texas to Dallas. And that's if traffic is good, the weather is fine, there's no accidents, I don't get a blowout, whatever. If I don't have nothing goes wrong, I can be there in 4.5 hours. Now, of course, today it's currently, it's raining. Traffic is kind of thick. So I'm not going to be there in 4.5 hours. I'm probably going to be there in about 5, maybe 5.5 hours. Because once I get to a major city, once I get to, say, Austin, or once I get into Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm going to run into traffic. And these are the kind of things that you unless you've been in a tractor trailer and you sit inside a tractor trailer and you actually witness this stuff, you know, live inside of a tractor. Like, if you've never slept in a day cab, if you've never slept in a sleeper, you know, if you've never, you know, had to eat truck stop food days on end, you can't be a fleet manager. This is what I feel. You can't be a fleet manager. You just can't. It's not fair. It's not right. Just because you could, you know, use Word, send emails, you know, you've been to logistics. No. That's not. No. You need to understand what a driver goes through before you can manage a driver. You can't just say, well, I have this piece of paper that I went to school for 2.5 years. I was responsible for about 2.5 years, and so I'm entitled to manage. No. This is what's wrong with our society. We're not the people who have been in the field that have the experience. No, we won't hire them because they don't have a degree. They don't have a piece of paper that says, hey, I spent, you know, $40,000 and I was responsible for 2.5 years. Is that what we're telling? Is that what we're saying? That, like, in order for somebody to be important, you need to spend $50,000, $30,000 to $50,000, spend 2 to 4 years in a classroom, and then you can manage something. I don't know. I find it, you know, it's asinine. And my prediction is you're going to see a lot more tractor trailer accidents. Why? Because we're hiring guys, you know, that don't belong driving a tractor trailer. And I say this because I used to be a trainer. One of the companies I used to work for, I used to be a trainer. My job was to train students, you know, rookie drivers, on how to maneuver, you know, do paperwork, logs, all that stuff. That was my job, and I would teach guys for a month at a time, and I would show them. And if they didn't do a good job, I wouldn't pass them. There's a lot of guys I failed. A lot of guys that got pissed off at me because they thought I was just gonna pass them, and I said, no, I'm not going to pass you. And you know why I'm not going to pass you? Because I have a wife. I have a wife, and I have kids. And at some point in your career, you're going to be driving through my neck of the woods. And because you suck as a driver, God forbid you make a mistake and you flip your tractor trailer over on my family. I can't live with that. So guess what? I'm going to fail you. And you're going to go back to school, and you're going to do it all over. You're going to run the course all over again. That's if you truly want to be a driver, you will run this course all over again. You will go for a whole nother month of training. I wouldn't pass you. And, you know, I guess, you know, the reason for this rant is my biggest beef is the fact that all these companies, all of them, all the major companies, a lot of the mom and pop companies, they're hiring guys that have no experience in the trucking industry, zero experience. And it's not right. Because what's happening is, you know, like exactly, you know, what I just explained. I'll have you get a fleet manager that just goes by whatever he sees on that screen, and that screen lives in a perfect world. It doesn't live in this world. For example, if I were a fleet manager and I have a driver that is, you know, 4 hours away from a destination, I'm not going to say he's going to make it there in 4 hours. I'm going to say, hey, all right, you're probably going to be there in about 5.5 hours. If he makes it early, all right, great. Now we've got an extra cushion. But I'm not going to say, all right, you'll be there in 4 hours. I don't know what's going to happen in those 4 hours. But you have these fleet managers that, you know, again, out of college, that live in that perfect world, and they don't understand that shit happens. I may need to stop and, use the bathroom. I may get hungry. I may run out of fuel. All kinds of things can happen. And they, all you companies need to stop, and you need to realize you can't keep doing this. And if you're going to do it, you have to put these fleet managers, you have to, take the time and say, all right, we're going to put you in a truck for the next 2 weeks, the next week, the next month, however long it takes for them to understand this is the stuff that goes on in a truck. So that, they're familiar with, gee, you know what? This is a bad call. Let's sit back a moment and think and re-strategize. A lot of times it's not all about the freight getting there on time. Sometimes you've got to take care of your driver. Sometimes you've got to tell that customer, look, it's going to be late. My driver needs to rest, or my driver needs time at home, whatever. It's got to be about the driver. If you have a happy driver, a happy rested driver, your freight, I guarantee your freight will get there on time. If you've got an upset driver, if you've got a tired driver or an inexperienced driver, you're going to have accidents. You're going to have these major catastrophic 15, 20, 30 car pileups. And it's going to happen more often. I guarantee it. It's going to continue to happen. And the one person I blame is you major big companies. You need to stop the practices you guys are doing. You got to change them. You have to change them. That's it, man. That's all I got to say. Peace.